Hiya, I'm Johnny, founder and managing director of Wild Goose. And one of the questions I get asked quite a lot at the moment is why do we use remote hosts for our in person events? Well, let me give you a little bit of background to Wild Goose. We've been around since 2004 and we provide team activities using our proprietary tech, which we've been doing since 2011. It's always been about in-person events. This is where we've been getting people together in towns and cities across the globe. But obviously, we moved very quickly into virtual and hybrid events in April 2020 as the pandemic started. And we delivered to over 7,000 events during that time, from 6 people up to 1,000 participants plus. And we've got a team in the UK and the US who cover that on a global basis. Now, how did we used to work? So pre-COVID, we did a lot of travel. In fact, we used to travel to some fantastic places around the world, all across the US, the UK, Europe mainly, but sometimes further afield. We used to send a crew of people with a load of iPads. We used to own 300 iPads and we would fly, get on the train, drive all over the place. It was great fun. We saw some great people. And just to give you a bit of an idea, in 2019, we delivered events in 22 different countries. That's a lot of travel, a lot of CO2, a lot of fun though as well. Now, then COVID struck, and we couldn't do that anymore. And what we learned is that people got better at video calls. They were really bad at the beginning. In April 2020, we did a lot of working through how to use video calls with clients, but people have got better and better and better. And then increasingly, clients have demanded great products, amazing flexibility, and sustainability for their events, but at a great price. So it kind of got us thinking, there has to be a better way. What we didn't want to do was go back to how we used to work. It didn't really make sense. I remember running an event once in Singapore where I was on the ground for less time than I was in the air. There's got to be a better way. And that's when we decided to take what we learned from virtual events and put them back into in-person events. We didn't need to be there on site. People were perfectly comfortable using video conferencing technology. We could beam into any meeting room, office, anywhere in the world at a moment's notice to deliver an event. People would use their own devices. Again, something we saw as being much more comfortable during the COVID time. We used to provide iPads, and now people are very happy using their own phones. They're very used to doing that. It allowed people to run their events. They'd still head outside. We might get them to do it, stay inside. And then we'd bring everyone back at the end for a wrap up and the results with our remote host. We'd get great photos and videos, which we'd share on the screen to show people how that worked. And yeah, all in all, the same great experience, which people loved. We just weren't there. Now, sometimes clients sort of go, oh, that's a bit funny. But actually, it works incredibly well. And we've had now, this calendar year alone, over 500 events delivered in this way with some great results. And there are many benefits to using remote hosts. So these are our 4 sort of guiding principles. Flexibility. You can change your event at up to 7 days or longer before your event date. And you can move it at no cost because we haven't booked travel, accommodation, flights, and all the rest of it. You can move it 7 days or more. You can move that date, not just virtual events, but in-person events. We also have amazing availability because, of course, we can now run an event anywhere using someone who's based anywhere. We don't have to have someone on the ground in that location. We can run an event in London with someone who's based in New York and vice versa. So in terms of availability, we basically have almost limitless capacity, which is really handy at the moment because generally speaking, there's a staff shortage in the events industry. We're also really proud that our events are now carbon neutral. This is really, really key as we drive towards this net zero target in 2050. And now, because we are not traveling, we've taken out unnecessary CO2. And affordability, this is another great upside because our events are now about 60% cheaper than they were pre-COVID. And we also have introduced things like the annual pass, which makes them even cheaper still. So great prices, carbon neutral, amazing availability and flexibility for the client. So lots of really good upsides for why we use remote hosts. And our clients are loving it. We're getting great reviews. You can see them for yourself on Trustpilot. People are having a great time. They're not seeing a downside. They're just seeing the upsides. And we're working with some amazing companies all over the world. So give us a try. And please do come to us for one of our in-person events with a remote host.